Hi, this is Ruben Puentedura. These days, anyone who is serious about education and the future of work knows that AI and XR have a key role to play. Now, we all know that around 50% of all jobs will be significantly modified or redefined by AI. But it's also important to realize that the changes involved are generally not going to be on the scale of the entire job simply going away or being done by AI. Rather, we need to view this as a process that will involve tasks being changed within jobs. So we need to be thinking about the impact of AI not in the context of a surrender to AI, but rather in the context of a process where our students gain agency, where they might use AI not as a master to be obeyed, but rather a toolset that they control, ultimately making it into a partner working alongside them. Unfortunately, much of the language currently surrounding AI in education does not bode well for this approach. For instance, an article by the Times Higher Education on their recent leadership summit does not focus at all on how the students or faculty can control and use AI. Rather, the presentation is a question of what will happen to the students. In fact, the surrender of agency is so dramatic that academics are encouraged to let AI take over admissions. And that's pretty much a recipe for a student that has lost all meaningful control, a student that has become disempowered, a student that is an object being operated upon by forces beyond their control. There is an alternative here, one that redesigns the learning process with a view to student agency and control. What would the learning process look like, for instance, for a medical student who later in their career in an impoverished hospital setting needs to create an AI assistant that is not off the shelf to diagnose and treat the local outbreak of tuberculosis? The model you see on screen is not a mock-up. It is an AI tool that a student could build as part of the process of gaining agency in their learning. But are all the pieces in place at your local medical school for this experience to happen and be meaningful? Well, it's not just a matter of coding. And similarly, think about what else needs to change in K-20 education. For instance, think about what XR brings to the table. So I'm at my local coffee shop, getting some work done and thinking about science learning experiences for children. I could, of course, choose to use some off-the-shelf XR to illustrate ideas about space by, for instance, launching a copy of the Apollo 11 mission from my seat at my coffee shop. That's not bad and it's quite entertaining, but it only goes so far. So I can choose to use XR to tell me something more about the world that's around me, overlay information about it, and do something with that information. So for instance, I can use XR to see the otherwise invisible landscape of wireless signals, radio sources, and satellites that's around me. This is not a passive watching experience. It's an active engagement and an invitation to explore, experiment, and construct your own XR data narratives. But again, is the learning experience at your school ready to make this happen? It's not just a matter of installing apps on smartphones. So we need to rethink our work as educators in this context. How to frame learning for engaged agency in the world of AI and XR. And in this task, an extended version of my SAMR model proves useful, helping identify and steer the development of transformative learning opportunities. The contextualization takes place within a bigger picture, in a world that is occupied not just by traditional learning activities and their evolution, but also involves informal learning, rapidly changing social networks, and yes, AI and XR. How we move forward, revitalize student agency, and what happens next is what I would like to talk about. But I'm afraid my time is up for now, so we'll have to continue this another day.